How often are you waiting for the other shoe to drop? Did you know that this is actually a concept called foreboding joy? You're basically squandering the moments that are joyful by thinking about what might happen once this moment passes. What might happen if the shoe drops? What might happen if this will pass, right? You know, foreboding joy is something in which is very common for high performers with perfectionism who tend to be on the hamster wheel, working towards the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And whenever there's moments of joy, of bliss, of just pure positive, uplifting, empowering emotion, those moments are squandered. They're not truly felt. They're not truly taken in, right? They're not truly loved and felt and rejuvenated in. They're just passed on to the next thing. Brene Brown has this saying, which is foreboding joy. And it says that when we lose our tolerance for vulnerability, joy becomes foreboding. No emotion is more frightening than joy because if we believe that if we can allow ourselves to feel joy, we are inviting disaster. So we start dress rehearsing tragedy in the best moments of our lives in order to stop vulnerability from beating us to the punch. We're terrified of being blindsided by pain, so we practice tragedy and trauma. But there's a huge cost. When we push away joy, we squander the goodness that we need to build resilience, strength, and courage. So that's what Brene Brown says about foreboding joy. It makes me think back to when I myself was on the hamster wheel of perfectionism, where I too felt deeply vulnerable whenever I felt any kind of joy whatsoever. It felt vulnerable because what if that wouldn't last? What if this was just another, passing moment of joy? But that is exactly what the definition of joy is, isn't it? It's a moment of pure presence, really. At least that's what I've found. Where you're so present that the joy can allow itself to sink into your body, into your bones, into your heart, right? It can be so tiny, so small. Like seeing the rainbow light come through in the morning. It could be just the light in general in the morning, oftentimes. It could also be someone that you don't know smiling at you out of nowhere. And also, it could be you actually meeting the intentions that you've set for yourself and actually manifesting that which you wanted. How often do you actually manifest something that you want? You're creating something that you want. You are expressing something that you have always wanted to, but once you've done it, you're just on to the next thing. It's just the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so you never truly let yourself celebrate and feel the joy of actually manifesting that which you wanted. I'm so freaking passionate about this topic because a life without joy and having a business without joy, that's not fulfillment to me, at least. And I don't think that is fulfillment to anyone, truly. Because what's the freaking point, right? What's the point with all that we're doing, all that we're creating and cultivating? What's the point with earning money, with having an impact, with feeling like we're making a difference, with showing up day in and day out. What's the point with all of that if you're not actually able to stop and rejuvenate in it? Trust me when I say, I know so many entrepreneurs and coaches, high performers, also with perfectionism, that are unable to feel the joy of what it is that they have created for themselves. Because again, you're then afraid, you have fear about what will happen if you take a moment and you stop and you rejuvenate in it. And I'm not necessarily talking about, the external celebration of it, like going somewhere and having a dinner and celebrating like that. No, I'm talking about the internal response to joy, which it doesn't really matter what it is that you do when you're celebrating, when you're feeling the joy. It's about actually just like noticing the joy, accepting the joy, seeing the joy, feeling the joy, taking it in. There's nothing needed to do that. Even if you go out and you celebrate, you can celebrate without fulfillment too. You can celebrate without joy too. You can have an external celebration without actually feeling it, without actually taking it in, because you're already on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. This is what happens when you're in the hamster wheel of perfectionism. You're procrastinating on feeling the joy, oftentimes if you're hustling and grinding and working your ass off all the time. And that is why I've created the Bloom Beyond Tribe, right? Which is for what I call sunflowers, which are free guests in there, and bloomers, paid clients, coming together in this wonderful community and tribe. And together we can celebrate properly the joyful moments and take them in and practice this, because it is a practice. It's not something that you just, switch straight away, because it's a habit of attention. It's where your attention goes that determines whether you can see the joy and feel the joy. If you're not able to notice the joy with your attention, because your attention is elsewhere onto the next thing, you're not able to. So that's what we're doing, right? We're noticing it with our attention, focusing on presence as part of the proactive principles that we have in the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program, for instance. Being able to do that so that you can actually feel it fully and rejuvenate in it. You can go to bloombeyond.com/apply to join for free for attending a monthly cohort in there. And then from there onwards, you can feel free to also explore our paid programs, Bloom Beyond Perfectionism and Bloom Beyond Mastermind. So an automated program, which is truly, truly, truly a journey in and of itself, 1-year commitment, and also Mastermind with one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and retreats as well. Both long-term commitments for long-term people, right, that really want to shift the identity from being a perfectionist, always on the go, next thing, not able to feel the joy fully, to actually being able to be present, feeling the joy, and still be able to show up and create and contribute, but from a different, point of view, with different intentions, and being able to enjoy the freaking journey, right? So again, go to bloombeyond.com/apply to join. You can also go to bloombeyond.com to explore more what this is all about, right? Until next time, I encourage you to just notice what brings you joy, what activates joy within you. Because the joy is there. It's just a matter of being activated. Stay bright, brave, and balanced.